And we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Go Live. This is a special one off the heels of some bad news, or I don't know. Yes, bad news. With all things Halo Infinite, it's been dominating the discussion. Before we go straight into it, I want to introduce our lovely guests. And before I introduce our lovely guests, I want to introduce Asa, the man who makes this all run a lot more smoothly. If it wasn't for him, the show wouldn't exist, and I would be an absolute mess. Asa, how are you, man?
I'm awesome, and I like that you think you're not an absolute mess. But carry on.
Thanks for that. Yes, I am an absolute mess. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm going to introduce our guests. This is going to be a very spicy take on it. If you don't like critical discourse, though, you might want to leave, because we're going to get saucy. Straight into the nitty-gritty of the issues. There may be views.
Should I leave now or later?
No. You can't leave. You can't leave. You have to stay. Well, since you tried to leave, I'm going to put you on the hook by doing the introductions. Mads from Mads Gaming. It's been a while. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Yeah, nice to be back with great panel. Interesting topics for sure. Not sure what this Halo game is all about. So yeah, but people keep talking about it for some reason. So must be something big, I guess, right? Yeah. So looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. You'll know what Halo is at the end of this show. Joining us again is a good friend of the show. It's really good to have you here, Josh. We tried to get you last week, but you're here now. Always a blessing. How are you doing, Josh? From Quest Mode Games.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I was on a road trip last week, so I couldn't make it, and I'm hoping that I'm caught up enough on the week's news that I can, add a few drops of sauce. Yeah,
no, you did ask me to send you some stuff, but you can't escape the madness that's been the internet and the juggernaut of this news, which we'll go into very swiftly. Last but certainly not least is a good friend of the show, excellent, legendary content creator, ladies and gentlemen.
Legendary, I doubt
legendary. Don't say or settle for anything less. Fonzarelli Gaming, how you doing, Fonz?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I don't know what we're going to talk about today, but I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Good. That's good. And I don't know what we're going to talk about either. But before we go into that, Face23 BKNY, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Why do I see people mad on Twitter? Yes, they're talking about Skyrim ain't the upgrade free. That's actually going to be the second topic of the discussion, Face.
Oh, that's why we're here. Skyrim.
Yeah,
yes.
That's Skyrim. Skyrim is the reason why we're here. Yeah. Lost Forever says Halo's more of a mess than me. That's quite an indictment on Halo. Asa disagrees. So we have to jump straight into it. I have hardly slept because I been arguing like the sad little guy that I am, because I'm so perturbed by what's happening with my beloved franchise Halo Infinite. For those who don't know, and you've been living under a rock, Halo Infinite or Halo Bungie 343 announced yesterday via the Halo Waypoint blog that basically Halo's co-op campaign and Forge modes are going to be delayed. They revealed their seasonal upgrade plan for the rest of the year, And in this video blog that it sounded really positive, they seem to be very happy for a video that was actually spreading or telling us bad news, that big core components of our traditional Halo experience are going to be delayed. So Halo Infinite's co-op campaign, you're not going to see that or be able to do that in co-op for at least 3 months post-launch. That's what they're saying, if they can adhere to their own schedules, but we know how that is. And Forge as well, to a lesser degree, but I want to get some thoughts on it, because I have very strong opinions on this, and me and Ains were going at it on Twitter, massive discussions over that. Dissenting opinions, it seems to me, fonts.
Oh, you know what? Do not go to me first, please.
Okay. You're going to set the tone first? Or
set the tone. Set the table, if you will, with some other guests that are here. Because, yeah.
All right. Well, okay, that's a good idea, actually. Let me get... Josh, you are primarily a PlayStation-centric gamer. You play primarily on PlayStation, although you play on everything. And I want to get your view on it, because we're going to get the perspectives of people who are Halo diehards, who maybe see things in tunnel vision, and I'd love to have your view on this. Halo Infinite's co-op campaign's been delayed after a year delay for Halo Infinite. What's your view on these things?
So hopefully this is interesting, because I have not looked at anyone else's reactions. I don't know I have a hunch what the general sentiment out there is, but for me, I'm probably a little different. So for one, I play my games pretty much single player exclusively, so I won't really miss the co-op campaign. I know that Halo that's a huge part of Halo, I'm well aware, but for me, I won't miss it. And in fact, I'll feel like maybe I'm more a part of the conversation when this game does come out, because I'll be playing it the same way everyone else. So for me personally, it's kind of a plus, but I do feel for the gamers out there who will play this, or who are planning on playing this co-op. Like, I've got a friend who is trying to get me to play it with him, because that's just how a lot of people play. So for me, that's not a huge deal. Also, since I'm not a huge multiplayer gamer, the Forge also wasn't something I was really looking forward to. But
yeah,
I think what's most interesting about this is, like, I can't recall a game launching piecemeal like this, at least not a game as big as Halo ever. Yeah. And I wonder, with how game delays have become so regular and almost expected nowadays, I wonder if this will allow developers a little more flexibility. If other developers take 343's lead here and say, okay, we've got this big game, we can't get the whole thing out on time. Will we see this down the road where developers are like, we're going to launch the single player campaign on this date, we're going to launch the multiplayer campaign on this date, we're going to introduce these features on this date. We kind of see that now with roadmaps, after a game launches, but I do wonder if we might see more kind of core parts of a game being launched after the initial release date, with the way, delays have just, like I said, they're so expected nowadays. This is kind of like a middle ground where you don't have to delay the launch of the game, but you might delay some parts of it. So I think that's really interesting. I don't think that would be a bad thing either. It would disappoint. I know a lot of gamers out there would be disappointed when certain parts of games are delayed, but I'd rather get like the single player part of a game on a earlier date and have to wait for parts that maybe I wouldn't enjoy as much or whatever. Anyway, that's my take. I'm not that disappointed, to be honest. But Halo isn't my bread and butter either. So, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, no, it's good to get an outsider's perspective on this, and this bit about this kind of content delivery becoming part and parcel of the industry. In fact, Joseph Staten in his video actually very quickly pointed out, he said, hey, by the way, it's a live game, so we have to start somewhere, and everyone's waiting for it. And that's why. Does that justify it, Mads? What's your view on it? Because Colt in the chat, shout out to Colt, says cutting to delay content is never okay. Delay it until what is promised and core is delivered. What's your view on it, Mads?
Yeah. Okay. So I will talk about it from like two different perspectives, right? I will talk about it from my own selfish perspective and other people's perspective. I guess like a proper Halo gamer perspective. So first of all, I'm kind of like Josh, right? I care more about like the story and the single campaign. When I play campaigns, I play them solo because I want to focus on what the story is all about, right? Rather than talking with my friend, right? So I'm just like that, right? I don't necessarily play a lot of co-op games anyway, right? So that doesn't necessarily affect me. Not really a major multiplayer gamer, right? Play a little bit of multiplayer here and there. I like Halo multiplayer a lot, right? But like Forge, not really. I played with it a little bit, with Halo 5, but for the most part, I was just playing some, the most basic modes on Halo 5. So for me, don't delay it. Release the game whenever you're ready, right? I mean, like November probably, right? I just want to play campaign. I just want the campaign to be good, right? I'm okay with playing that game solo and having some fun in multiplayer. So that's my perspective. Now there's another perspective of other people, right? And I understand that a lot of people enjoy these games in co-op, right? Like Josh said, he's got a friend that he wants to play that game with him, right? And and I get it. Now I also understand that this is going to be a big thing when review drops. I remember play Halo 5 when the reviews for Halo 5 dropped. Every single person was bitching about the fact that Halo 5 did not have any sort of a co-op, right? And that was a big point of contention, right? So get ready for all these reviewers basically making a big thing about it, right? So from like a whole game package perspective, that's not really going to be a good look, right? So obviously it's not good for gamers that want to enjoy the game for the first time with their friends, and obviously that's not really going to be a good look from like PR perspective, right? I wouldn't really worry about Forge that much because Forge with Halo 5 got delayed as well, so nobody really made big deal about it. I think that co-op is really the thing that everyone really talks about. So these are two different sides of a story. So like for me, like listen, I would say go and don't delay it, release it. But I understand the other people's perspective, and it's going to be rather difficult for them to avoid Halo spoilers, Halo story, and playing Halo at all to enjoy the co-op for the first time with friends, right? I guess for some people that will take away some sort of enjoyment from the game, and I get it. And last point I want to make about Halo is that it's kind of baffling that after 5 or 6 years in development, right, this game is still not ready, right? I get it. Like, and if you look at like Gears games, like Coalition were able to release like number of Gears games every 2-3 years, right? Halo has been 6 years in development and it's still not ready. Even after an additional year of development, it's still not ready. And I've seen number of different posts from Reddit and that kind of stuff where apparently, I don't know whether these are true, apparently some 343 developer was talking about how the actual story changed, how when what's his name, Josh Staten came in.
Staten,
that's the guy. When he came in, he basically shredded the whole story apart and started like kind of putting all these pieces together to make a totally different campaign, that kind of stuff. So I mean, there may be dozen of different reasons, but the fact of the matter is that like Halo Infinite is a development mess, and I just hope that it will be a good game when it releases.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, and we're gonna get into that.
And I am a little bit worried, to be honest with you.
You have every right to be. And as you were talking, Hoggy Chani super chat came in exactly as you were talking about why Coalition, he says, can deliver without excuses, but 343 can't. It isn't even another publisher.
Or
they're both
management,
Xbox.
I'm afraid, yeah.
Yeah, or this couldn't have been closer. No, sorry, this couldn't have been even. This is a good point. Close last year when it was supposed to launch. This is a bewildering thing to me.
Imagine this game last year. It would be a disaster.
What was there? It's so weird. I don't know what they proposed to release, and we'll talk about that shortly. But Alvin, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I've been very generous. Staten's message seems to be that no aspect of Halo will be released, and doesn't meet his quality bar. This bodes well, he says, for the long-term health of the game. He says, "Let me know his faith in the actual story contents of the campaign." Yeah, well, that's a good pragmatic view on it. How things pan out. That means Halo better bang with that campaign. Before I go into Asa, you're going to round this up with your sensible source. But before you do that, I need to get Fonz, and I think me and Fonz are going to do a little Dragon Ball Z fusion dance. As we share our views in symbiosis. Fireworks. Fonz, look, I'm gonna share the heat with you, okay? I think this is ridiculous. I think and actually, the first time we ever talked, ever in the history of our lives, was on RDX podcast, and that was my debut there, and I disagreed with you. And I said, "You're too harsh on 343, Fonz, crying about Cortana. What's wrong with you?" Today, I would like to apologize and go back on my word and say, Fonz, you were right. 343 have failed multiple times, in my opinion, in various different aspects. This is the final straw. That doesn't mean I'm completely writing off Halo, by the way, but as far as trust is concerned in that studio, that has demolished. Fonz, what's going on with Halo Infinite? What is your view on what this means for the future of this seminal flagship franchise?
See, that is the question at hand. Are 343 the ones to take Halo back to the forefront again for Xbox? Make it the flagship title that it has always been and, should have been when they took over. Unfortunately, I still, for me, everybody has their own opinions on Halo 4 and 5. For me, they have yet to make Halo their own. They have yet to make it that traditional mascot that everybody looked up to when they talked about Xbox. Master Chief is synonymous with Xbox. And I personally feel like right now, okay, so 343 had, 5-6 years to get this all together. They had a year delay, and they still come up with, empty hands when it comes to co-op and Forge. Two of the main staples of this franchise, especially the co-op. It's a staple of this game. And for them to say that we can't bring this at launch, that to me is a big L. It's one of those things where it's like you brought in Joseph Staten, one of the key Bungie guys, writers, and everything, to hit this home, to close it out, to bring it to us. And, I admit that Joseph Staten made the multiplayer look a bit better, made the game overall look a bit better, because from what we've seen initially of this game to what we see today, it does look better. The graphics are indeed, they've got that polish to them. Great, grand, but you still didn't deliver a full package here. So for launch, if it's not going to be a complete package and not going to have the entire co-op, Forge, whatever is, goes into the Halo games, then just delay it. If it's 3 months, if it's 6 months, delay it. Just do it. I mean, bring us a complete package, that Joseph Staten package, make a big statement for 343 and say, look, we can do it. But again, 343 for me has, long history with not liking what they've brought out for me personally. The Halo 5 campaign was just a mess. Terrible. Didn't like the game at all. And, I just still need them to make a complete game and make Halo their own so I can move forward with this. I want to see 343 do better. I want to see Joseph Staten take them to the promised land. But if you're telling me Joseph Staten has got them to where they are today in just, the last year, that's sad. What have they been doing for 5 years over there? Yes, we've heard rumors that they completely scrapped the original direction of the game. That's not my fault as a consumer and gamer. Get your act together. Obviously, leadership has been poor at 343. It's not even a debate anymore. That's obviously what it was. There was no leadership there. And if you're telling me he's the new guy at the helm, then take it home. Bring it home as a complete package. Look, I'm not even just harping on 343 here. We are living in an age where we get broken, unfinished games all the time. And I'm tired of it as a consumer, as a gamer. And as Josh said earlier, what if this sets a precedence for other developers to say, hey, maybe we can just put out incomplete packages? I don't want that. That's not a good thing for me as a consumer. I don't want to hear that. Yes, we've had other games. A lot of people are bringing up games like Ghost of Tsushima, saying, hey, those games, that game didn't have the multiplayer day one. Was never promised day one. That wasn't the main staple of that game. That was an extra surprise they added onto that game. Yeah. So they're bringing up examples that make no sense. Co-op is a staple of the Halo franchise. Complete the game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's not at all ask. In terms of delay, I want to be clear on this. The delayed conversation for me comes from a position of I think it's a failure. I completely understand. A lot of people don't actually care about the co-op, so they come from the position of, well, I don't care, don't delay it. And I get that. For me, and for anyone who keeps saying this, don't play the co-op then play it after. You want me to wait 3 months, especially someone like GameOnDaily and content creators, not to play the bloody Halo campaign and wait for 3 months, assuming they push it out in 3 months and not play and avoid spoilers like Matt's saying? Impossible.
Yes, people are constantly doing it. You see it in the chat. Oh, co-op is the staple for 10% of the Halo.
10%.
It doesn't matter. That's still thousands of gamers out there that want co-op day one. It is you can't negate the fact that co-op is still a main staple of Halo. So
it is.
The game is not complete unless all these game modes are in there that have been there. So I don't understand the argument there. I really think it is indeed selfish at times when you want something. You want something now. You want to play it now. But like with Cyberpunk, I was so hyped on that game. I never said, release it now, release it now. Every time they delayed that game, I said, that's good. Let them take their time. Let's hope they get it together. And they didn't. Yeah. It came out in a buggy mess. Yeah. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. Who knows if the campaign is going to be flawless? Like, we don't even know that at this point. We're just relying on what Staten is saying at this point, but he's also saying, hey, we're going to delay key features in this game. Like, is this guy really going to release this within the 3-month and 6-month timeline? We don't even know that. So what if he releases this game this November or whatever, and then 3 months later, he comes back and says, you know what, we need more time with the co-op. It's going to be another 3 months.
We have no confidence.
Then what?
Yeah.
Then you're just telling the people that wanted to play the co-op, oh, just wait another 3 months, guys. That's on you. I don't care. We're living in a time where gamers should stick up for things. And I think a lot of them just look to, look out for themselves, basically. Yeah.
And a lot of it's corporate damage controlling.
Gaming is a selfish hobby. But gosh, I don't even do the co-op thing. I don't do it in Halo. But I'm looking out for my friends that do. I have a lot of friends on and offline that love to play the Halo in co-op with their kids, with their wives, with their, sisters, brothers. People do.
Yeah.
And I'm looking out for them.
Yeah. Someone is saying, nobody's making you wait, but kicking and screaming won't bring it any sooner. Really? Well, then explain how 343 had to do the delay in the first instance. There was a fan reaction. Because we weren't happy, we didn't get whatever half-assed Halo experience you got. So for people saying that, you better say thank you, Gaz. Thank you, Fonz. Thank you for everyone who had the balls to say that game looked like shit last year.
And Gaz, there were still people saying to release that game last year after we saw
100%. I saw that, and I was in the firing line. I was in the firing line just like you were.
There's one more thing to it, because if we start if we make it pass, right? We can't do it because like then it sends a message to developers that like, hey, no worries, we can release, a broken mess of a games and we'll fix it later, right? And because like nobody really complains about it, so why should we care, right? And so like,
poor precedent.
Yeah, exactly. So for those guys that say, stop screaming about it, you're not really making anything, that's not going to make the game better. Yeah, it won't make this game any better, of course, right? But at least we are sending a message to developers, publishers, Microsoft, whoever, right? That we do not want that kind of games. We want like full experiences, right? And because otherwise they will just be, it's just like with microtransactions. If you start like, buying them, there's no stop there, right? And,
that's it.
Mads, I've had the same stance with every game, with anything. This is not just, related to Halo Infinite. I have the stance that if a developer is going to put out a game, make sure it's finished, complete, and not a buggy mess.
Yeah.
Period. So that's my stance.
Listen, imagine going to a restaurant, right? And you are ordering a dish, and all you get is a meat, but potatoes and the salad you have to make. Wait, like, hey, come back tomorrow. We'll give you a salad, right? Imagine this, right?
I'll probably lose weight that way. It's probably good for me. But
and I've had people tell me this. I've had friends tell me this. They said, they're going to, if they release it, they're going to play the campaign. They will. And what's going to happen is 3 months later, whenever they decide to release the co-op, they're going to forget all about it. They're not even going to want to go back and co-op the game because they initially co-op it with their sons, their wives, their daughters, their, whatever. This is what they say. So,
that's exactly
and it
what's
happens.
Happen.
I put stuff in the backlog sometimes because I say, no, I'll play it later when these features come out, and then forget about it. A lot of people did that with Cyberpunk. They said, I'll wait till this is done, or, it gets less bugs and all this. They're not even playing it. They don't care. They're not going to it.
The problem is that then new games come come out, and and there's no going back, and then the backlog just keeps growing, and you never go back to it, right?
Yeah, some people do, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Someone, Z Black Rider says, I'm going to wait till they fix the Ascent, and the same with the CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. You'll be waiting for a while with Cyberpunk. Some big issues.
True.
Asa, you've been sitting there characteristically quiet as always. I am intrigued because we haven't actually spoken about this fiasco. You haven't sent any WhatsApp messages. I'm intrigued. Asa, wise old Asa, what is your stance on this whole thing?
Oh, Gaz, I have no strong feelings one way or the other. That's not entirely true. There's just an awful lot to address there. And I'm going to start with what Fon said about Ghost of Tsushima, because I disagree that it's irrelevant. So with Ghost of Tsushima was delayed. It came out as a single-player campaign, and they released the multiplayer component later. It was a lot of people's game of the year. Okay? You say it doesn't, they released what they promised, but that tells me that the biggest concern here is actually around messaging and marketing rather than end product. Because that's the big difference between Ghost of Tsushima and Halo there. There's expectations around Halo. It's a massive IP. So I'm not saying that you're wrong to think that, but it is not the quality of the final product that you're so angry about. It is the marketing and the messaging, which is funny because for the last 6 months, I've heard nothing but praise for the way that Microsoft are marketing and messaging relative to Sony, who don't say very much. So now all of a sudden, everything that Microsoft has said, suddenly everyone hates them for it. Not as a collective. It's very much focused on 343. I get that. But the end result can still be absolutely fantastic. The other thing, I get that there are concerns around 343. They've had this year's delay. They've had this 5 years beforehand. People have a lot of expectation, a lot of hope, and they really want a good Halo. And it's just not filling people with confidence. Yeah, that's fair, and everyone can see it happening. And we're all a little bit concerned. And my point's slowly slipping away, but it's not. So,
but it's not.
It's to do with, there's a distinction between co-op and Forge as well. So Forge is absolutely distinctly multiplayer only, and you're not buying multiplayer. It's already not part of the package. They've already separated off the multiplayer. That's free to play. It's hard to complain about Forge being late for a free to play multiplayer component of a game, but that does kind of draw a spotlight onto the fact that the way that Halo Infinite is releasing is confused now. It's confused. It's releasing in the way that Sony fans have always said that Game Pass is going to be a problem. They've always said you're going to get incomplete games that are built later, and they've been saying it since Sea of Thieves. And now 343 have given them a massive stockpile of ammunition to say, yeah, this is the future. We now release games incomplete and deliver them later. Arguably, that wouldn't be the end of the world. That's actually a reasonable way to deliver content into Game Pass. But they're also selling Halo Infinite as a full price game.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, now you've got a real conflict in what they're doing, a real kind of contention in what the right approach is. Whether they should push on with what they're doing and release it or delay it for 3 months, there's not a good answer there. They obviously shouldn't have got themselves in this mess in the first place. But knee-jerk rage, I mean, I guess the good news for them is they can ride it out, and a few months down the line, it'll be judged on its merit rather than its marketing and its launch, and they'll probably be okay. But I don't know, it's complicated, and I see the rage, and I understand. I get that people are shaken, their confidence in 343 is wavering, especially after like 2 or 3 weeks ago when they had this flighting and everyone was on a high thinking, this is great, Halo's back, they've done it, they're going to deliver on everything. Then they suddenly say, actually, we're not. I understand. I'm not mad myself. I love the co-op in Halo personally. I will play it alone first because it's a better way to absorb the story and all the rest of it, but I will definitely play co-op. I understand the anger. I don't know. I'm just kind of, rather than committing to any strong emotion, I'm just sitting back watching the conversation going, it's quite interesting, like the way that these perspectives are shifting around and what it actually means.
Yeah.
Asa, I want to bring up something that somebody said in the chat, and it just sparked my memory on what Joseph Staten was talking about with this game. Now, this is the first time they're taking the Halo franchise into a live service game. Okay, so he says that it's never really complete because the story keeps evolving, it keeps going. And that's one of the things that I was really, on the fence about when I first heard about this direction for Halo. I'm still on the fence about this. I have to see how this game plays out campaign-wise. I don't know if that's the right direction, but just stating that, saying, it's not really complete because it's a live service game.
Yeah.
It's like, what kind of campaign are we getting here? Like, this worries me even more. Like, I don't know why they couldn't do the co-op. I can only speculate. Maybe it had something to do with the older hardware. I don't know. Maybe co-oping with Xbox Ones is the issue. Because if you think about it, if you're on a Series X and your buddy's on an Xbox One Fat, you might have some issues there. I don't know. But again, I just don't know about this live service thing. I don't know how complete this package is really going to be. How this campaign, this first one anyway, is going to end is going to be really telling for the rest of the franchise.
So hypothetical then. Pretend that Halo wasn't being sold for $60. It was just coming into Game Pass in this way. And I mean, we're all consuming it on Game Pass anyway. Would you be happy with the way that they're releasing it if it was delivered on that pretense in the first place? Funds?
No. For me, I don't think people should use Game Pass as an excuse for, say, if games that is incomplete or, a live service game, I just don't feel like we should look to Game Pass and say, it makes sense because that totally makes sense for Game Pass. Halo is a franchise that is beloved by so many, and for it to go this direction, it's a huge step. It's big. This is like them going sort of a destiny route in a way. Not exactly, not 1-to-1, but it is going to that live service route that a lot of Halo fans don't like about Destiny. And so we have to see how this, all plays out. Again, the ending of this first campaign is going to be very, very telling, because if it ends on a cheap to be continued or something, a lot of people are going to be upset.
Oh, there's a robot in the background I can hear. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that, Fonz. The way the content delivery looks like it's set up is going to be leading on to this 10-year plan of like incremental stuff. Josh, I want to get your thoughts on this in light of The Last of Us, because I was keeping that same energy. In fact, actually, I think The Last of Us was worse. I'm not as emotionally vested in The Last of Us because I care about Halo more. But Factions was this multiplayer mode. We still haven't even heard about what's going on with that. Does that worry you? Because PlayStation has done something, I think, in my opinion, more egregious than what 343 has.
Yeah, that I was thinking about that. It makes me wonder if there's a broader strategy at PlayStation to roll out multiplayer experiences separately. And if that is the case, I do think they did, like Asa was saying, I think they did a great job messaging that with Ghost of Tsushima. They made I didn't play Legends, but it seems to me that was in development for a long time, maybe even, since the early stages of development of the entire game. So they probably knew that they could have packaged that together at some point. I have to imagine that might have been a decision they made. And then they made the decision to not only do it separately, but make it this like surprise, which is great. Halo couldn't exactly do that because, and I'll get to The Last of Us in a minute, but Halo can't really do that because, at least with the co-op, because the expectation is that that's going to be there to begin with. And I also, like what Fawn said, I think is great about, asking gamers to hold off to play it until that's ready. Like the story in Halo campaigns is that's like asking a Star Wars fan not to go see a Star Wars movie the day it comes out in theaters. It's just not going to happen.
That's a very good way of saying that. Thank you. I was looking at a way of trying to say that. Don't play it and wait. What? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but with what Halo, I hope they do is, what they can separate from the campaign. I hope they do and focus on that later, get the campaign right as best they can. And then, if there's anything that they can delay that is separate from that experience, maybe they can take a page from the Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us book. With The Last of Us, I think that I'm so glad that they compartmentalized that because, similar to Halo in a way, the story of The Last of Us is what makes the campaign what it is. And it seems to me that Naughty Dog maybe at some point just said, you know what, this multiplayer, for whatever reason, it's not worth it for us to include it in the core or the initial experience. So let's separate it. And then at some point they just said, let's make it a whole separate game, which I think will probably result in a better multiplayer experience. Like whenever Factions does release, knowing Naughty Dog, if they're putting all they've got into it and they have a dedicated team for that, and it's a totally separate experience, even a full priced experience, knowing Naughty Dog is probably going to be awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad they're kind of compartmentalizing it. The other thing that was going through my head listening to everyone else talk is, I agree, 343, it doesn't look good for them moving forward unless this is just an absolute banger on all fronts. And, with the acquisition of Bethesda, and Microsoft now has 2 first-party studios that have proven to make some of the best first-person shooters out there in id Software and Machine Games, not to mention Arcane, even though I don't think they'd be a Halo developer. But, it's just not looking good for 343 again, unless this is just an awesome game. But I feel like they've kind of been put in a tough position. Like with Halo in the past, everything has been delivered all at once, and so that's what people expect with Halo Infinite, or at least expected. Maybe not anymore. They wanted the campaign, the co-op, and the multiplayer to be delivered at once. And nowadays, on top of the fact that it might have some live service or will have some live service elements, on top of the fact that they have to develop it for 5 different, the Xbox One Fat, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. That's just a ton to ask of a developer, and so I'm not surprised that things are getting, and we saw that was a big reason, so they say, why Cyberpunk also ran into some problems. So
Josh, you're 100% right. To piggyback off what you said earlier, this is the optics anyway are very bad for 343 when they come out like this and tell you basically it's going to be incomplete. We're going to release the co-op later. But the problem here is that people are going to scrutinize the campaign. They are really going to look at it with under a microscope, some people. And anything that's wrong, any little flaw, they're going to blow it out of proportion, and they're going to say, I thought you said this was rock solid. This game was, complete, done. And it's not, that's what people are going to do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. JD Gamer with a $5 super chat right on time. Sick timing. Says, Asa, you're exactly right. It's the messaging and marketing. Last gen mess. Self-inflicted wounds that will hurt its Metacritic score and hype. it will cast aside any notion, in my opinion, and I'd love to be wrong here, cast aside any notion of this game being a 90 plus on Meta. No matter how much you say Metacritic doesn't matter, which it doesn't, and it does. Mads, like, you touched upon this actually earlier on. You said, like, and both of you gents, optics, in terms of how this is going to be perceived. Halo always had an uphill struggle. In many ways, unfair, because it's held to a loftier standard. It has to do way more than a lot of other games. But now this is given an excuse, or not an excuse, maybe subconsciously or consciously in a reviewer's mind, that this still isn't the definitive Halo experience, unless the campaign and multiplayer are stellar, absolutely stellar. Mads, am I right in saying Halo and 343 have no excuse to smash Halo Infinite, has to completely blitz through every standard of Halo for them to redeem themselves? Or am I being an unreasonable piece of...
Well, okay, so looking at it from like a fan perspective, right? I mean, Bungie has always been this developer that kind of took Halo to its heights, right? And like ever since 343 took over, well, we all know how it all went, right? Finishing with Halo 5. So obviously, people don't have too high of expectations, right? I mean, I get it that the most recent multiplayer test kind of got people hyped and that kind of stuff, but we still don't know nothing about the campaign. Now, will they be able to deliver? Well, I really do hope so, right? I have no idea if they will. Are they capable of delivering? I think they are, because they really are capable of that, because like if you look at like Halo 4, for example, that was a really good game, right? Like story-wise, the campaign was really good, right? They wanted to make it more personal and that kind of stuff. I know that the Forerunners, I think they were called, maybe not the best kind of in that game, right? But like overall, I really like the story and campaign. So They did that once. Why they wouldn't be able to do it again now, especially with this Staten guy, right? So like hopefully they will deliver, right? And hopefully the campaign, I really do believe that campaign is going to be really good, right? Now, where are they going to be able to like deliver the best Halo experience ever on all fronts and stuff? I can tell you right now, no. Because the problem is that the expectations are so high.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe for some people, maybe not really, after all this kind of debacle. But still, it's always like that with Halo games, right? Like people expect, and I don't blame people, right? I mean, it's one of these IPs that really get people excited. So are they going to be able to deliver the experience that everyone expects? Probably not. Is that game going to be good? Probably yes, right? At least a good game. But like, you mentioned the, Metacritic and that kind of stuff, but I really do think that the fact that they won't really deliver the whole package, that will impact the scores, and you will read and you will watch reviews and listen to reviews, and they will be talking about, it's a nice campaign, that kind of stuff, but the game is really not complete, right? And I understand why Microsoft may actually, still be pushing for this game to be released, even though it's not really a full package yet. Because like if you look at what happened with Sea of Thieves, right, they look at it from this perspective, like, oh, it's okay, let's just drop the campaign and then we will just keep adding more stuff to it and people will play it anyway, and on top of that we've got this free to play component, so people will be able to try it out anyway, right? And I get where they how they look at it from the business perspective, right? But when it comes to this kind of first reaction to the game and that kind of stuff, I don't think, like, you're not really gaining like a full Halo experience, like you're not really getting the whole package. So obviously that will affect people's opinion on this reviews, and stuff. And but I just pray to God that campaign is really going to be really, really good, because
Same.
they need to. I'm sure that multiplayer will be fine. If not, they can always fix it. But if they screw campaign, it's done. It's done deal for campaign. They can't fix campaign.
Even for somebody who's been vocal about this, I'm not screaming at people. I'm not like telling them that their opinions are just wrong. This is just my opinion here. I'm giving it, and I am not telling people to boycott the game. I have not said, like, I'm boycotting this game. They better do this or that. No, I'm just putting an opinion out there saying, look, my stance has always been, if a game is incomplete, not ready to go, delay it.
Yeah.
Delays are fine when games aren't ready. I get it. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I don't care that people want to play just the single player game. Like, that's great. I'm going to play the single player game, but I would want a complete package. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. For Asa, I think most people actually want the game to be released. They don't want a delay. So the detractors are few hardcore. Is it possible to throw a poll in there, perhaps, to ask if people ask our lovely viewers want it?
We
Halo
can get a
Infinite
poll up
to
in a
be
minute.
delayed.
Yeah. I will say, so if there is a silver lining to co-op being delayed, it is the implication that they are being ambitious with the campaign. That's the one thing that you can take as a positive from it, because if they were staying within their limitations, as it were, and just doing something on the scale, like a linear game on the scale of Halo 4 or something like that, then you know that they'd be able to deliver co-op. They know how to do it. They know how to make it work. They are shooting for this semi-open world, and I think Fons was spot on earlier. It's very, very likely that the thing holding it back is the last gen version. So it's all well and good with these nice new next gen consoles and PCs to have a player hosting multiple parts of the world as the players diverge, if you don't want a really tight leash on them. But as soon as you factor in that last gen of consoles and you're trying to get it to run simulations on two places at once, it's probably difficult. So it's a positive that they are still shooting for the moon, as it were. Hopefully. This doesn't make it right. I'll get a poll up about the delay. It'll be good to hear what people think, because I know it is very split on what people want. So I'll have a look at that now.
Yeah, I'll move away because we spent nearly an hour on Halo. I just want to sum up because people thinking I'm hating on 343. I am disappointed in Halo in 343. I want Halo Infinite to be the best it can be, and I'm just worried that it won't be. But at the same time, I'm still holding out hope for the campaign's quality. I'm still holding out hope. Yeah, both of us. It could be amazing.
Although my faith in 343 is like non-existent.
Yeah, I think
is.
Who has faith in 343 in the chat? After that, everyone surely agrees this is a fat L, right? Even if it doesn't affect you, this is a big L for Halo and 343.
It's a black eye for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, so this negative news aside, there was also some, I guess, negative. Well, yes, negative for people can fly. This age-old argument seems to be resurfacing again and again. It's about Xbox Game Pass profitability, and to throw a spanner in the works, some people really got overexcited on this. And this one, I think, is more down to tribalism, console tribalism, and console warring. But wait, delayed. I'm going to say delay the campaign, even though I'm split on it, because I can understand on the poll why you don't want to delay it. I think it should. Delay the campaign. I mean, delay the whole pack. What kind of poll is that? Just say delay or don't delay. Delay the camp.
You can do some quick maths afterwards. You'll be fine.
We're talking about releasing the multiplayer, not releasing the campaign, which was speculated to happen just about a month ago. Like there was rumblings, like people were talking about that may happen this year, but it's not happening.
And
for
I
what it's
also
worth,
saw
guys,
some.
You can run polls yourself if you're going to whine about it.
I don't have to do it. I don't have to run it.
I don't even know how to do that, Asa.
Asa, we're not.
I'm incompetent with that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of script you ran to do that poll. I was going to say, so this age-old argument about Xbox Game Pass. So the developers behind Outriders, and this is such a weird situation, they have said that despite, this is speculation on the developers' part, saying they don't think Outriders turned a profit, and chances are it didn't, because they didn't get paid their royalties, and therefore a lot of people were very quick to point out, Xbox Game Pass. It's Xbox Game Pass's fault that Outriders just failed to make a profit. And well, I can substantiate this, but I want to get the guest view on it. Josh, what is it Xbox Game Pass's fault that Outriders didn't sell on PC and PlayStation?
I doubt that it's Game Pass's fault that it didn't sell well on other platforms, because we've heard time and time again from developers. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I know I've heard developers say that Game Pass has boosted their sales.
Yeah, you were on the show with the Dirt 5 tech director. That's what he said it.
Yeah, that's right. We actually had that conversation. He was super high on Game Pass, and I've heard other developers say the same thing. And I can't imagine that we would see all these releases on Game Pass if there were just all these numbers showing that it didn't help a game's profitability. I don't know what the details are behind the royalties situation. I don't know how royalties in video games work. I don't know if this is a thing that they were promised and owed, or if royalties are dished out dependent on sales. I don't know that. It was super interesting hearing that. My mind did not go to Game Pass at all, because as far as every time I've heard a developer mention Game Pass, it's been positive. This is the first time. And did anybody at People Can Fly mention Game Pass, or is this just gamers?
They kind of alluded to it. They alluded to potentially problems with the partnerships that the publisher had made, which is effectively Game Pass.
And the other thing I've heard Phil Spencer say is that their deals with developers are pretty much negotiated on a developer by developer basis, and they're all different sorts of deals. So it's possible that the deal that People Can Fly or Square Enix negotiated with Xbox wasn't the best deal for Square Enix and People Can Fly. I don't know. I can only speculate. But no, I love Game Pass. I will continue to sing its praises until I see or hear something concrete that says it's not profitable. I have heard, I think it might have been even Colin Moriarty on this show might have said that he doesn't think that Game Pass is profitable and that there's no possible way. And I just, whenever I hear that from somebody, I'm like, why do you think that? And please, is there any information out there that says it's not? Because I mean, Microsoft is Microsoft. They have truckloads of money that they can spend on deals. They can dish out hundreds of thousands of dollars probably to some of these bigger name exclusive games that are on Xbox Game Pass. But I
think their main point, Josh, when they say those things is that they're spending so much money into Game Pass, and for all these games to go into Game Pass, they're spending an extraordinary amount of money. And if you just look at that on the surface, it seems like, man, how can they recoup their costs already? But we can only go by what they tell us. And Phil recently said in an article or it might have been a video interview, he said that they are profitable right now with Game Pass. It has become profitable.
Well,
all we can do is go by what he said.
Let's just say they have 20 million subscribers. I think that's an old number, but I think they hit that number. And if half of those are like full price, they're not on the $1 deal. Let's just say half of them. That's 10 million subscribers at an average of $10 a month. Mm-hmm. My math is not great, but what is that? $100 million a month coming in? That's 1.2 billion a year. Again, I may be mistaken because I'm doing math in my head, but that's a ton of money. Now I did hear that. I think I heard somewhere that they paid Gearbox something like $200 million to get Borderlands 3. Was Borderlands 3 on Game Pass?
Not sure.
Or maybe that was the Epic Game Store deal. Anyway, those are the types of numbers that get thrown around for exclusivity these days. So, they can't.
But those numbers are like, that's spreadsheets. That depends on how you allocate costs. Because if you consider that the ZeniMax acquisition was for the sake of Game Pass, which is what people tout, it's going to take a long time to pay that off. And if you put that on a different cost section of your finances, suddenly it might be profitable, right?
Yeah.
Spreadsheets are boring. That's
Not to turn this into the numbers show, but like it's all about subscriptions. If they can get those Netflix numbers in terms of subscriptions, I think they will make money. I mean, that's just so much money coming in every month. It's a cash cow.
The thing with the people can fly one though, there were a couple of quite interesting things in there, and a couple of things that people assume either side of the argument that you really shouldn't. The first one is that I can't remember the chap's name, but the head of People Can Fly seemed to be talking about this issue with their payment before he'd actually got on the phone to Square Enix. He didn't actually know why they hadn't received the payment. This was like the day that it was due. It's like, oh, we've not received any money. I wonder why that is. And people ran with it.
Was it on the day it was due?
It was the day or the day after, but it didn't sound like it actually saw any clarification.
It was
at
right
all.
around that time. It was, I think it was the day of, though.
It was right around then. So it could be that the money just didn't arrive yet, because companies don't always pay on time. That's the way things go in business, right? But,
oh my God.
But there's also a lot of people are assuming that Game Pass must be fantastic because a lot of developers have said so. There aren't many parallels for Outriders on Game Pass. There aren't many big day one third-party games. So it's very difficult to actually form any conclusions on how good or bad it is. It's nice to think that it's great, and co-op games are going to get more people playing. But bottom line, we don't know what the numbers look like. The other thing is we don't know what the agreement was on royalties. We don't know if it's simply tracking revenue. It could be that the Game Pass deal was very good for Square Enix, but there was a little hole in that contract where People Can Fly where it wasn't so good for them because their payout and their royalties might have been based on sales. In which case,
everything written was based on sales. Everything that was written, it said it was based on sales, the royalties, game sales. So
so you can understand if they're not seeing sales and they're looking at all of these people playing their game, then they're going to point at Game Pass and go, "Hang on a minute." But
yeah, of course. And if you look at it that way, look, Game Pass as a service will affect developers that way. If their royalties are based on sales, even though they're not the market leaders, they're not PlayStation 5 or even you can get the game on Steam, I believe as well. You still have a platform there that is essentially giving the game out for free. I mean, with your $10, $15 a month subscription, but it will affect sales there. However, in this case, I would say that the game just didn't sell on all platforms, not really well anyway. And there was reasons to that. I mean, when we got the demo for Outriders, I remember playing it and thinking, yeah, I'm not buying this. And a lot of people did. Then we heard, it's going into Game Pass. Oh, okay, well, I'll play it in Game Pass. And a lot of people did that. I had a lot of friends sit there and say, I played the demo on the PS5, was planning to maybe get it on the PS5, but once I heard it was in Game Pass, I just went to Game Pass and played it. So a lot of people did that. There was zero hype for the game. When it did come out, it was buggy as all hell. And, there was a lot of problems. I remember, if you guys remember, People Can Fly was on Twitter literally crying, saying they were getting a lot of hate and a lot of stuff coming at them because the game was so bad. And so a lot of people, naturally, you look at the Metacritic, you look at people, all the reviews talking about how this game was in bad shape. Of course, people didn't run out and buy it. So they had so much against them. However, I remember Square Enix did come out and say, hey, the game is doing really well a month in. We've got so much engagement in the game. Sales are good. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, Game Pass is probably the number one reason why your engagement is so good at this point.
They said specifically that they were pleasantly surprised by the success on Game Pass as well.
Yeah. So if you're looking at it that way, I mean, look, you're lucky it was in Game Pass. People played your game, and I would attribute it to Game Pass, most of the engagement anyway. So
this is the exact
I just think it's funny that they're pointing fingers at Game Pass, saying, maybe it's Game Pass's fault, but at the same time, it's the success of your game was through Game Pass. It's like a double-edged sword. This is a contract dispute between Square Enix and People Can Fly. This has nothing to do with Game Pass. Their issues lie with Square Enix. They got a bad deal then. I hate to bring that up again. I've said that before on other contracts that we've talked about in the past, but they got a bad deal.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. No, but you have to go by what Square Enix also said. They said they were pleasantly surprised by the success. The digital sales ratio for the title was very high, and insisting its decision to make Outriders available on Game Pass worked in its favor.
There's another big piece of the puzzle here. They did say that they have to recoup their costs before they gave out any royalties. Now, this is the same company, Square Enix, that said first month of the Tomb Raider game back in 2013 said they made $3.5 million on the game and it wasn't enough. They needed at least $6 million for that to be profitable.
And this game was in the work for 5 years. This game was in the works.
Yeah, and then look at what just happened recently with Marvel's Avengers for them. Big flop. They're crying about that. At Square Enix, we're not going to recoup our costs for that. Major budgets. I get it. But, again, this all comes down to whatever contractual deal they had with People Can Fly.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. Mads? You look like you're frozen. No. What's your thoughts on this? Like, is this narrative ever going to go away? What do you think this is motivated by? And just to add to that, I just want to add another bit. 93% of Hades box sales are on PlayStation. Paul Tassi of Forbes says in his headline, raising an Xbox Game Pass question.
Okay, so
he's asking like 9%.
The problem is that people that make these comparisons I don't know whether they don't know how subscription services actually work, or they just basically are trying to make an argument, for I don't know, like for some reason to make their own kind of agenda work, right? Because like the problem is that like, from game developers' perspective, right? There's two ways you can. Yes, they invest money in the game, right? They want a money back, and obviously they want to have profit on it, right? So there's a number of ways you can do it. Like you can obviously, sales is one, primary way of making that money back, obviously. But on top of that, you've got different other revenues, and one of these revenues is obviously the subscription services, right? And the way it works is that it's not like you are getting money or you are getting paid or as a developer for like how many people play the game. It's just basically you go to Microsoft, you go to Sony, you put that on PlayStation Plus, you put or PlayStation Now or whatever, right? And they give you one sum of money, right? So this sum of money adds up to the money you are making on the game, right? So it's like saying that, so you can say that the game didn't really sell a lot of copies of that, on that particular platform. Yeah, it's kind of makes sense. It may not make the game may not sell that well, but that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't make any money. Right?
Yeah, they get paid money up front. Yeah,
exactly. Right. And some of these developers did say that, or maybe that was Microsoft, that it depends on developers, right? They've got all kinds of different deals. With some deals, they kind of finance the whole project, right? And whatever you make in sales is your profit, basically, right? So I'm not trying to say that like Hades or Outriders, that was the deal with them, right? Because like it's going to be on a game by game basis. But these sales comparisons just don't make sense, right? Because they don't, right? I would say that like what's more important is that like how much money that game made, right, on a particular platform. That makes sense, right? So that's one thing. Another thing I wanted to mention and talk about with regards to Game Pass, like because people say it's not profitable, right? It depends on how you look at it, right? Because like Isa said, if you throw that $8 billion that Microsoft spent on Bethesda, and you keep adding all these studios they bought, like in last 4 years, right? you could make an argument that they not green on the on the green side of the their finances and
Accounts,
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. But people need to realize that Microsoft is not a charity, right? So they've got their own, financial people there, and if they must have done some simulations and that kind of stuff, and and the growth they see right now must be at least the minimum they predicted, right? That they just keep adding more and more, right? So, are they really profitable in a sense that like, so we invested all this money and now we are getting all this revenue, so we made money on it, right? Probably not, right? But in the long run, yes. I mean, they are still, and like Phil Spencer, Satya Nadella, big head of Microsoft, right? He talks about games, right? So if these people are telling you that they will be investing more and more and more and more, I would say that this is just the beginning. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
And I'm not even talking about just the new studio acquisitions, right? I'm just talking about the gaming as a whole. Look at what they do with the cloud. And like there was an interview a couple of months ago where Phil Spencer said that it was obviously on social media, it was twisted in the wrong way, but he said something that the fruits of what they doing right now we will see like 3-4 years from now, and people read it as, so the games are coming like 3-4 years from now. But what he was talking about, he's talking about like totally new things that will be coming to the platform, whether that's on the service side of things, whether that's on gaming side of things, maybe that's a new hardware, whatever, right? I mean, I'm sure they've got a lot of stuff in development. So that's when we will see like, what they are really want to build, right? And that's where, all these profits will start like hitting them, right? But right now they are still in investment kind of phase, and they are spending big money, and they will spend even more, right? So
it's like a loss maker.
I wanted to bring something into this equation, because we're, talking about people can fly, Outriders going into Game Pass, royalties for game sales. I think this is going to set some sort of precedence, and there's going to be changes made to contracts, because if you think about it, publishers can do what they want, put the games where they want. And if they decide to put it in a service like this, and it does affect the overall, bottom line when it comes to royalties based on game sales, then contracts are going to be changing.
To monthly active users and stuff like that.
Isn't that the same thing as with these Marvel thing that this actress is kind of
it's the same thing. Like Black Widow. Yeah,
exactly. It's the same.
Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. And it's a case she's not going to win, because it was put in a service-based system. She's not going to get royalties off of that, because that's not what her contract allowed. Same thing with People Can Fly. And I think just going forward, it's going to make the developer a lot smarter when they're dealing with publishers in cases like this. Because a lot of times there are self-published developers that do work with Microsoft, put their own games within Game Pass. Look, they get a big lump sum of money, and the deal's done. Square Enix did this, and, People Can Fly is not reaping the benefits of that. So in the future, I think it's going to be something that developers are going to really keep an eye on.
Yeah. I think I missed quite a few super chats. I don't remember reading these, so let me catch up with these. Yeah, wow. How the hell did I miss those? Apologies, everyone, but this might cause us to double back on some topics. Armello, thank you so much for the $5 Canadian super chat with no message. I hope you weren't intending. Well, if you have a message, just type it now. Sometimes YouTube can be weird. JD Gamer, Asa, you exactly. Oh no, I've read that. Gerald Mack with the $5 super chat. 343 put unnecessary pressure on themselves to make an absolutely smashed campaign, like the panel has stated. It will be aggressively scrutinized. I think it would have happened irrespective of the internal pressure. Halo's legacy demands that. It commands it more than anything because of people like us. So yeah, let's hope. I think the attitude should be they should put pressure on themselves. They've taken on Halo. It comes with all the benefits and all the stresses. That's you subscribe to it. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's a bad quote. JD Gamer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, the upside to all of this, and talk about Halo, is 343 still has the ability to shut up all the naysayers, and all they have to do is deliver an absolutely phenomenal experience. That's so easy. That's all they have to do,
That's
JD.
all they have to do.
And like you just said, that's what they signed up for. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
They signed up for that. They signed up for that. I'm not going to shed crocodile tears for them. And people are saying, "Oh, COVID," and I know this makes me sound heartless, but the whole industry is moving forward, it's difficult because COVID is just difficult as well. But 6 years, flagship title, big budget. Are we going to perpetually excuse 343? I don't know. I'm not. Oh, Mello, thank you so much for the $5 Canadian. Xbox's premier IPs missing core components at launch does not bode well for their claim that they're building an industry-leading first-party organization. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. It doesn't bode well. But I think it's always going to be really... There's more to this. And I'd love to see the insight. Someone release a documentary or a book or an expose on the charting the journey of Halo Infinite and why it messed up or did so well. This is going to be either an amazing story of comeback for 343 redeeming themselves, or it's going to be just, oh my God, it's going to be madness this year. Good, look forward to that Go Live show then. Oh my God.
And I hope it's the latter. I hope it's the initial statement. Yeah.
The latter.
Not the latter. I hope that 343 knocks it out the park. My overall feeling is they won't, but I hope they do.
It's true. It's like a parent and your kid is playing, I don't know, you Americans, most of our audience, baseball. It's like your kid, you're like, come on, you hit that. No, I wouldn't do that to my kid. But it comes from a position of passion. You want him to do well. So yeah. So hopefully they do. I'm really praying they do. I'm not the naysayer. I'm just very critical of this obvious failing. That's what it is. Blue Boy Vast, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. It says, looks like Square's probably doing the devs dirty, which is what the gents here, particularly Fonz, was alluding to. Maybe now that streaming is becoming a force, particularly in gaming. This is a relatively new development.
Wasn't there another developer that complained about Square Enix not paying them for the game? Wasn't that what's the name of the game? I'm blinking on that. There was that Japanese developer that was back in the days was complaining about that they haven't really got, not necessarily any money, but some some money
royalties.
Yeah. Nier Automata, I think that was.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah.
I can say Square Enix bloody copyright strike everything. Even just trying to advertise their games, or in a montage, like a nice top 5 games coming. And I can tell you stories of how they've approached me when I posted a Witcher 3 leaked footage. Oh my God, it's so slimy the way they slid into my DMs. Hey
really
guys,
slimy,
we want to talk about
they didn't have anything to do with The Witcher 3.
Not Witcher 3. Who's The Witcher 3? Who's the publisher?
WB Games, I think.
Oh, WB Games. No.
Namco.
It's
Namco.
Bandai Namco. Sorry, apologies, Square Enix. Bandai Namco. So, very quick story. This guy from Bandai Namco goes, hey guys, we want to talk about possible deals with your promo deal. I'm like, all right, okay, hey, can I get your email address? This was on social media. I said, fine. And then it goes, please remove the Witcher 3 footage or we will bar you. I'm like, what? This is not what you said to me. You lied. They actually lied to me. Just slide into the hands. If they actually said to me, Gaz, by the way, just remove that. We don't want to authorize it. I'd have removed it. People can be a bit slippery. RG Viper, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, man. It says the issue is that Square Enix is not paying people can fly their royalties. Game Pass is not the problem. The quality of the game and the contracts are the problem. And I think Paris in the chat, shout out to Paris, also said the same thing. It's it's an internal issue. But I'm surprised what Asa, if you're saying this is correct, this was on the day. It could just be a late payment. Why don't they speak to their publishers? They had no idea. Weird. Dead Planet, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It says, without Game Pass, 100% correct. Outriders would be in the bargain bin after the month. I think it would have been dead. No pun intended.
It must have been like one of those like Polish ways of doing business. Like, let's complain on social media before we talk to the publisher, right? That's what Poles do.
Shade on
They
CD
argue.
Projekt Red. Yeah, it's true. A bit prematurely. Well, I don't know if it's true. You're the Polish guy. You can tell me.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm just joking. I mean, like, hopefully that's not the case, right? But like, we Poles really like to, like, we do complain a lot and that kind of stuff. So that's just
very similar to us British people. Then,
yeah,
that's what we
probably.
do as well. We do the same. We're one and the same. We love to whinge, as you probably find out now, right?
That must be European thing then.
It is a European. Very skeptical about everything, and Josh is there smiling and just loving life, and here's us crying about Halo, and he's thinking, what the hell is wrong with you?
I know, I bet it worked. If there was someone at Square Enix who forgot to sign a check, I bet they signed it right after that happened. So
yeah. And then imagine he did that interview. Oh damn, it's actually here. Here's the check. Oops. It could happen. You never know. The world's crazy. But yeah, the poll results came in, and despite the fact that I don't agree with you, I love the fact that 69% said releasing co-op later is okay. All right. Well, there's 130 votes, and that's quite. I'm not going to deny it. 30% said no, and 69 said yeah. Where's the other 1%? You're wrong. No, that's fine. Okay. I agree. And Dan Lazaro with a $5 super chat to add salt in my wounds tries to reiterate the poll results. And he says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Campaign and multiplayer matters more. Cannot miss holiday or anniversary date. And one thing that a lot of people said, and Dennis says, oh, look, data. Don't. Ains was doing this, relying on Halo 5's data. You tell me what data quantifies how much fun you are having. Halo Infinite's open sandbox, semi-open world, that game was designed for co-op. Everyone was talking about it. We had plans for it, and boom. Tell me what data that you have that can
Shout out to
quantify how
Ains.
much.
I argued with him a bit too, but it's all love, man. I love Ains.
Mad love to Ains. I wanted you here, but this would have been such a flinging fest as me and you went at each other's throats. But I love that. That's the kind of discourse I like. Raw, pure, unadulterated, but sincere. Sincere discourse doesn't happen. And look, everyone in chat, look, you guys disagreed with me and Fonz, and well, most people you did, and it's fine. And I understand both views. It's the point that we foster those discussions. Don't stop them.
I like talking about my opinions. I don't know about you guys, but I love sharing my opinions.
Absolutely. And I love hearing your opinions. I love hearing everyone's opinions on it, because we're just one lone person with our skewed view on things.
And people love your opinions as well. So.
And I'm over here arguing for others. Like, I don't play the co-op, but I'm arguing for others. It's like, okay.
I'm more selfish.
So our poll is obviously, it was run on a very small sample, but even if like the majority of people are happy for the way that it's releasing, 31%, if that was proportional, would be a huge number of unhappy people.
Yeah. And talking about statistics, only 25% of people completed the campaign for Halo 5. Are you saying get rid of the campaign and focus 75% of your efforts on multiplayer?
A lot of people would like to see the multiplayer releasing. If they had to delay the campaign, it would be fine if it was just multiplayer. A lot of people are saying that as well. So
a lot of people are saying that.
I actually think that wouldn't be a bad way to go with Halo. I mean, it's going to be free, and there'll be tons of people playing it. If it's good, lead with your best foot, It
is. See, you're right there, Josh. But Halo operates in a sphere that people would not tolerate. There are people still crying about Sprint. And I just realized, oh my God, I now know what the minority feel like. So maybe I should stop making fun of people who want sprint in their games. This week, let's move topics from Halo and sales. I want to talk about a game that I think is gonna not suck, probably sucks. I don't know. Call of Duty Vanguard is that got revealed. I think it's gonna be crap. I think maybe I am spurred on emotionally by what happened with Activision Blizzard, which makes me less inclined to be nice to them. Because that was really bad for people who don't know, the way they were treating women, and the whole workplace was just like, what the hell? How does that still exist in this day and age? So
go read some of those court transcripts if you want to see some crazy stuff.
Yeah, man. How does that stuff happen? It's crazy. Sometimes it makes you angry as gamers.
But you know, it's not just the gaming community. It's in all industries.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's
everywhere. It's everywhere. It's crazy. But even forget all the bloody fiascos and all these controversies, all very serious. It kind of lowers the tone of the show a bit. Let's raise it a bit, then take it back down again and say how redundant this game is. Josh, Call of Duty Vanguard, man, this is World War II. I don't give a... It's so... It's like, why are you going back to... Sledgehammer Games are working on this, and they, for some reason, thought, let's go back to World War II. Sounds like Call of Duty sometimes feels like it ran out of ideas 10 years ago. But this one, I have a feeling this is going to be the lowest selling Call of Duty game in a long time.
I was wondering the same thing when this reveal happened. Is this the game where we finally see a slump in Call of Duty sales? And, part of me kind of hope, I hope everybody is successful. I know a lot of people worked really hard on this game. I don't wish... poor sales on them, but for the sake of motivating action to switch things up, I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. What's gonna prompt that real big shift in the Call of Duty franchise? I mean, I know we did get Warzone, that's new, and it's not like it looks like it did 5 or 10 years ago, but as far as campaigns go, it seems very redundant. I remember when the World War II Call of Duty was put on PlayStation Plus, and I added it to my library, and I haven't played it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't play it, because if I did, I probably wouldn't be ready for another World War II Call of Duty. So I have to say I do enjoy the campaigns, but they're always so short and sweet. It's like I play them and then I never think about them again, and not being I'm actually more looking forward to Battlefield 1942 than I am Call of Duty, and that's coming from a guy that doesn't even play multiplayer traditionally. But
2042, yeah,
2042.
I think Mads, I think this is going to suffer. The campaign, I agree with you, Josh. Actually, I do the same thing, and I like their short and sweet. I'm old now; I don't have time for the long campaigns. Actually, I just don't have time.
I'm old, Mads, but I love those 100+ hour games. Still do.
I do when they hook me, But
Ghost, I'm playing Ghost right now. Yeah, they say it's a 3-hour campaign. This new DLC, I've got 10 hours in already. I don't complete it right away. I do a lot of side stuff. I run around, collect things. I love games like this. So
okay, fair enough. No, that's good. That's good. You get your money's worth playing those long games. Yeah. I get my money's worth with Apex Legends maybe one day in 10 years' time.
Are you buying microtransactions?
Oh my god! Let's not talk about it, man. It's gone to another level.
Let's get him. Let's get him. He's
the problem.
I know. He's the whale. He's the whale, guys.
I am the whale. Just so bad. Right, it's so bad. It's so bad. But Mads, are you excited about COD? Are you gonna buy Vanguard?
No, I mean, I don't remember even which was the last one I played, to be honest with you. I know that I skipped the last one for sure. I might have played the one before, right? The problem with COD is that people are kind of tired of World War II and World War I and these kind of things, right? And it's actually funny when I when I first heard rumors about this game being in World War II kind of era, I was like, no, that's not going to happen. No way they're going back to it again. Thanks. And hey, well, I was wrong, I guess, right? So I think it's not necessarily about, because the game may still be good, right? Don't get me wrong, right? We don't know, right? The campaign and stuff, but like people just don't want to play these games anymore. Like World War II and that kind of stuff. They want modern stuff, right? And I mean, I don't necessarily care about code and stuff, right? I think they stagnated. Somebody asked about like whether they can go back again if potentially if they failed again right, by this time around, can they go back and be successful again? I mean, yes, they can. Like we've seen that with Call of Duty Ghosts, right? That didn't sell well. That was not really a great Call of Duty game. But then after that, the next one was really good, right? So they kind of got back to what they what people like, right? So I don't know. I think this game is not going to sell well. I mean it will sell well, but not as well as Activision and stuff would like, I guess, right?
I think they.
So
I think they might know that.
Yeah. So, but like if they do, it's kind of weird that that they still. I mean, they have to release something, right? And there's been some rumors about like, because they've got like 3 studios working on code, and like there were some rumors about some studios basically projects being canceled totally and that kind of stuff. So it's a mess as well. So who knows? Maybe this one is just rushed, right? So but that doesn't really sound interesting.
It doesn't really. And Fonz, on the back of that, there was talk. This is earlier, a couple of months ago, when people were thinking or speculating that Battlefield 2042 was going to be on Xbox Game Pass. People said that that's what needed to happen for Battlefield to finally kill COD or just beat it.
I heard the rumblings about that, and
does that need to happen now?
Does it need to happen? No.
In order for Battlefield to beat COD,
I'd say Battlefield looks exponentially better than COD Vanguard. There's no competition there. My son is a big COD fan, and he says he's not looking forward to this at all. So that's telling.
Okay. That's a lot. Yes, that's a lot.
The one thing he did ask me, though, he's like, well, if they have a good zombies mode.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
What's the thing with these zombies? I don't know. I don't get it.
Teenagers love that zombie mode, and they play it relentlessly. So if it has a good zombie mode, it's going to be bought up. People will play it. It's COD. All these COD players buy COD every year. Even the ones that say they're not going to. They're going to do it. Battlefield doesn't need necessarily to beat COD. It just needs to be really good and just sell really well. I mean, and I think it's going to do that just based on what it looks like now. Everything we've seen so far, the system they have in place where you can just design your own game basically is amazing. That's right crazy. There kicks COD's ass. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's Vanguard. I mean, man, going back to World War II, those old guns. I hate those old guns.
I hate those guns, man. Hate them. That's why I never played Battlefield 1 because of that.
I never liked them.
Or 5.
I tried them. I tried to play those games. I don't care for them. Like, I want modern day shooters. That's what I like.
See, 10 Feet Up says Battlefield 2042 is in a rough state according to playtesters. I know one, and they did share. No, they didn't share anything. Well, I'm not NDA'd up. Someone heard it. Saw some stuff.
He or she said what?
He or she showed us some stuff. It was looking pretty rough. Some bits looked good. I hope we don't have a repeat of... what the hell is that? Sorry. Oh, it's a moth. No, it's not. What the hell is that?
It's chasing you.
Activision sends their agents.
There's like a laser right here. It's either Halo fans or it's bloody Activision Bobby Kotick coming for me. I was going to say, I don't want Battlefield 4's return of that nonsense. Oh, man, that killed so much momentum for Battlefield. It was doing really well, and I was playing on PS4 at the time. It just crashed all the time. Hopefully Battlefield, please work. Asa, you play a lot of games. I don't think I've ever seen you enjoy COD. Did you play Warzone with us? I don't think you ever did. You're not a COD fan, are you?
I played Warzone with you once. I don't enjoy Call of Duty particularly. The last one that I played and thoroughly enjoyed was, funnily enough, set in World War II because it was Call of Duty 2 when the Xbox 360 launched.
Oh, yeah, that was a
done much
classic.
for Call of Duty since. It's really hard to guess whether this game is going to hurt Call of Duty much or not because the Call of Duty audience are not the audience that frequents GameOnDaily and Twitter and all the rest of it to talk about games. They're a very different group.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been probably 2 decades of people telling me that they're not going to buy Call of Duty. We've all known that Battlefield is better, that Titanfall is better. Call of Duty always smashes it. So, why? And who these people are? I don't know, but it's hard to guess what this one's going to do. And obviously, Activision's legal issues and attitudes and all of the problems going on there weren't acknowledged in the slightest in the reveal and probably aren't going to make a dent on the sales of it. And if you are, we'll say again, we've said this a few times, if you are sitting here wondering if you should buy Diablo 2, if you should buy Call of Duty, if you like those games and you're concerned about that studio, boycott them if you want, but try and find out what the people within those studios are saying. They're the people that matter in all of this. So if the people in those studios are saying, actually, we don't want you to boycott our games, that hurts us, it's not the way to support us. Respect what they need rather than what feels virtuous, because it does matter. And like Fon said, this stuff goes on everywhere within gaming and elsewhere. So keep your eyes open, do the right thing where you can. And
really interesting. Sorry to interrupt. Really interesting note on that. I saw recently 2 writers on the writing team of Vanguard post on Twitter how excited they were to finally reveal their game. Funny enough, they were both women, but it just it reminded me, like, you know, there are people who really worked hard on this game who maybe they had some bad experiences at Activision, maybe they didn't, but they clearly want their game to succeed. When you see them, you know, posting on Twitter, I'm so excited to finally reveal what I've been working on for the last 3 years. So something to think about there.
Yeah, very sensible takes from both of you, because you don't want to try, like Asa says, be virtuous, but then spite the people that are actually protecting or trying to, you know, safeguard the sentiment, though, obviously.
If you want to suck it to Bobby
please.
Kotick, not buying Call of Duty is really probably not the best way to do that.
Yeah, please do be virtuous. Like, I fully encourage people to be virtuous, but look into the impact of it and who actually wants you to do what.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
So you guys aren't excited about the Vanguard destructible environment?
Is that got destructible environments?
Yeah, apparently.
I was excited about that when it was in Red Faction, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Can you
in Battlefield as well? So
What is that?
Levolution.
I don't know.
So
Is it Levolution?
Can you break fruits and that kind of stuff?
Oh,
Fruits.
the
Watermelons.
fruits. Here
Wow.
we go. Xbox
the
hater.
watermelons,
If there's no fruits physics, I'm not playing this game. Telling you.
No, watermelons, that's it. Doors can be
doors as well.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Doors can be destroyed. Oh my god, come on, man. Like, this is... Wasn't there a meme? There was a meme video. This is how old I am. Like, Battlefield, 3 or 4. 4 with the Levolution. You see all the buildings, and then you see COD, and a window breaks.
So wait, I actually missed this. Is that feature they're pushing in the game? Is that doors can be destroyed and windows and stuff?
I guess so.
Yeah. I just got done playing Dishonored 2, which blew my mind, by the way. Amazing game. And yeah, you can literally just shoot doors in that game and they'll blow open. It's like...
Damn. Dishonored is a game that I've left on the back burner and I really need to play.
All I gotta say is, if you never played Dishonored 2, I think it might crack my top 5 games of all time. Wow. It is unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Did you play the first one as well? Because I'm playing the first one now. So which one is better, 1 or 2? Because
the first one is good. The second one, just the best level design I've ever seen in a game, hands down. I don't want to derail this conversation too much.
That's awesome.
No, but that's good.
Yeah, I need
That's
to
good
finish
stuff.
the first one then, and I'll get on the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, the level 4 in Dishonored 2 straight up just blew my mind.
Wow.
Damn.
Cool.
See, I never finished an old game, showing my age now. It's not that old. Chronicles of Riddick. Apparently, its last level is one of the best levels in gaming, or that at the time. And I never got to play it. So I need to get back into it. You've convinced me. I'm going to download that today. It's on Game Pass, no?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Bloody hell, man. That's crazy. The votes are in on Call of Duty Vanguard, and damn, 91 votes. 87% said they are not buying COD Vanguard, which is quite bad. I was going to say, though, there's one thing that, well, not one thing, but COD Warzone. Warzone is a beast, and we all go back into it. I go back to Warzone. I haven't been for a while. But if they just start doing some kind of little content thing there, I'm going to be selling myself out. But what can it be, man? It's going to be a World War II guns. I don't know. I don't get it. Asa says you should probably check my phone. What have I done?
That wasn't
wrong?
so much one to read out loud, but cool.
While you're saying that, I just want to give a shout out to the Indie Gamer. By the way, I think he makes phenomenal content. He makes content on indie games, of course, but he just does such great work. Subscribe to that man.
Oh, yeah.
will.
Indie Gamer's sick. Yeah, check out Indie Gamer stuff. He did a really good video on Song of Iron Man. That deserves more views. Smash that like button. Really good, and he's got great content. We're going to wrap up. Very quickly. We've gone past an hour and a half mark, which is always great, and Josh needs to leave. Sorry, I read the text late.
You guys can feel free to continue without me, but I do need to bounce here pretty soon.
No, it's no problem at all. I think we've kind of wrapped up everything we wanted to talk about. So everyone agreed Halo Infinite's going to fail. Call of Duty is going to succeed.
I did not say that. Excuse me.
Quasman says, Fonz is wrong and Gaz needs to sleep. But yeah, no, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's not going to be the end of it. There's a Source video coming out, and normally I crap on PlayStation, but this time, sorry Halo fans, the Source takes no prisoners. It's going to be, brace yourselves. But there's so much more coming as well. Oh, where's my little thing? Oh, I'll show you afterwards. I'm really excited. You didn't talk about Skyrim. Face, very good point. You made like a $20 super chat. We didn't talk about Skyrim. Asa, if Josh leaves, can we like rejig the UI?
Can.
Just talk about it?
I can hang out. Honestly, I could probably hang out until 4 o'clock if I
very quickly.
bounce very promptly at 4. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want
Sorry.
to. No, it's absolutely not a problem. We have an hour and a half kind of soft time limit, which we rarely ever meet anyway. But I completely understand. Shout out to the 240 people watching. Smash that like button. Thanks to Face and his super chat. We go on for a few more minutes because he very kindly, and my memory's crap, actually very kindly talked about this. I'm glad you brought this up. And thank you again for the super chat. He said, you referenced the Skyrim fiasco, which, oh my God, sometimes you just lose faith in humanity. It's like, what the hell is wrong with people? So maybe I'm wrong. Okay, actually, some people had dissenting views, I think. Not that anyone I know of. Let me get to the point. Skyrim, apparently people got vexed that Skyrim, which is on Game Pass, is DLC, isn't on Game Pass. So you have to pay for it. And on social media, it was console warring. I'm going to say it. It was this bunch of PlayStation fanboys, same people who were happy to play $70 or £70 for their games and director's cuts. Josh, why? What is wrong with you? I'm just kidding. I'm not throwing a label out there. What's this point about Skyrim, man? Is it really bad that it's on Game Pass but the DLC isn't?
I don't think so. I've run into a similar issue. I'm actually a subscriber of PlayStation Now, and they have some games on that where you can play it there, but you have to pay for the DLC, and I don't see a problem with that.
Skating.
You heard that?
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, it's you're getting a great deal. You can play the base game, and if they don't want to put the DLC on there, then that's up to the developer. Again, these deals, who knows how they work, but I don't have a problem with that. I guess I can see how people who are on like a really tight budget, which a lot of people are, might feel like they're maybe missing out because they can't squeeze the DLC in. But to me, it's not a big deal. I think that's up to the developer, and I want developers to reap the rewards of the work they do, and if they need to charge for the DLC, then so be it. That's kind of my take on that.
Very good. Great. Actually, I didn't realize that until you just mentioned that. So many people say, the same people, oh my God, I actually remember the same person. Wow. The same people who are complaining about this were saying support game developers and Game Pass hurts them. Hold on a minute. How are you going to support devs if you're not buying their DLC?
Don't do that, assuming that you're speaking to one particular hive mind. Like, if you've got an example of somebody actually flipping both messages, but you're not speaking to a hive mind, like, if you are, they're not worth talking to. So.
Something sensible, Asa. There's some source. Let me have my moment.
I have to add too that most other games like the Outer Worlds, for instance, their DLC did not drop on Game Pass. Like, you had to buy that separately. I mean, this is something that's happened
hardly
before.
any game DLC is in Game Pass.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's like the man, I'm going to throw out a trigger word here, but like I think the entitlement might be getting a little too much. If people are expecting DLC just because a game's on Game Pass, that means you're going to get the DLC for free. Like, come on,
You know what? Actually, this is a good topic, on Game Pass because, we were talking about like Game Pass and how they make money. Well, this is one of the way they make money on these games, right? You drop the base game into Game Pass, you play it, you like it, you want to continue with DLC, so you pay. So basically, you pay for DLC. That's the way it works, right? I think the only DLC I remember that dropped to Game Pass was this Gears 5.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but that was in Game Pass
Mads?
Ultimate. Why?
Yeah, you know why? Because it was 3 hours.
Yeah.
Literally, that whole game, like extras and everything, is like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, but you had to buy. You had to have Game Pass Ultimate to play it.
Yep.
So so that was extra charge as well, right? So it's not like the base Game Pass would cover for that, right? So another thing on that Skyrim thing is that when I first read it, I thought like, God damn, I mean, like totally kind of new because I thought that's a new game because they were talking about like enhancements and stuff, right? And I thought that that's all. That you have to pay for that. So I was like, that doesn't sound good. But then I just learned that DLC is paid for, while the enhancements, if you own a Skyrim Special Edition or you just use it in Game Pass, you will get these extra enhancements on top of like Series X enhancements for free, right? Like not free because you're paying for Game Pass or you paid for the game, but you don't have. You're not going to be you're not really going to get charged for it extra, right?
It's a whole different ball game. Exactly. It's not a director's cut then. There's not. You're getting that for free.
So you are getting all that through Game Pass. Because there were some people running around saying that you still had to buy it outside of Game Pass at the updates.
Because it's basically a free update for the Skyrim Special Edition, right?
Yeah.
The game is pretty much the same, the base, right?
Yeah.
So nothing changes. It's just some optimizations for the next gen systems, right?
Kind of like what they did with Fallout 4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except also on PlayStation as well. Like it's all right if you own Skyrim Special Edition, PlayStation or Xbox or PC, but the enhancements don't really apply there. You get the enhancements, you just don't get the extra content without paying up a little bit. Yeah, it does.
What a way to recoup your $7 billion by putting out Skyrim again, because people are going to buy this all over again. Let's face it. I've seen it on Twitter. I bought Skyrim 8 times. I'm going to do it again. And I'm like, okay, great.
Really quickly, because we do need to wrap up soon. But we'll start with Fonz. Why do you think they put Quake on PlayStation?
To make money. That's it. To make that
it's
money.
Legacy titles. So this is another topic. Very
this
quickly,
is one
a lot
of
of
those
people.
legacy things where they were talking about. Phil said that they would put select games on other platforms as well, and this is one of them. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's not a game that has any legacy on PlayStation, though, right?
No, but the thing is like they're putting it out there so they can get some cash, and in the future,
generate buzz.
It just has nothing to do with future titles. Because, future Bethesda titles, new titles, will be exclusive to Xbox.
Exclusive.
Yep.
Exclusive.
I don't see Quake. I think is a good opportunity for them because I don't see people going up in arms because Quake's on PlayStation. But if when Machine Games Indiana Jones game comes out, or or Arcane's next game, I forget what it's called, with the vampires. If one of those came out on PlayStation, Xbox gamers would probably be pissed. But like Quake, I don't see anybody complaining that Quake is on PlayStation. Maybe they're out there, but
some people
Quake's
did.
a weird one because like it doesn't have a legacy on PlayStation or Switch, particularly Quake 1, and they put it out there, which is fine. Quake as an IP is struggling, so Quake Champions didn't do well on the PC, so it's probably it needs that boost. It needs some attention drawn to it, but it does kind of confuse their messaging when they were so firm. It took so long for them to be so firm that these Bethesda games would be exclusive. So it seems a weird choice to push that one all over the place, but minor.
But at the same time, it isn't. I know what you mean, but at the same time, it isn't. Blue Boy Vast, thank you so much for £5 super chat. He goes, how can Skyrim not have DLC on Game Pass? The special edition came out on the base game plus DLCs in one, and it's the only version for the Xbox One Series X. What do you say to that, Issa?
Oh, it does. It's specifically, so the anniversary edition comes with 500 packs that are user created. So the modding system that was brought to consoles was curated by Bethesda. It was user created content that you could get through effectively an online store. So it includes 500 pieces of curated user generated content that you'd have to pay for in the anniversary edition. The other DLC, I don't know Skyrim DLC, but that will be included if you've got it on the special edition.
Okay, thanks. All right, well, as you wrap up, Psychonauts 2 in 3 more days, yes. And fishing?
It's got fishing. That's the other thing.
Oh.
Yeah, but fishing is free as well, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, fishing.
No, I'm not joking. Some of this stuff is actually free. I mean, yeah. It's confusing.
So shout out. Thank you so much, everyone, for turning up. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the show. It wasn't that negative. I wasn't that bad on Halo, was I? Yeah, it was coming. Source. Shout out to everyone watching. Thank you so much. I'm going to let everyone do the outros. I want to know what the gents are playing. Josh, thank you so much for joining us, man. I hope you had a good time. It's always a pleasure. And,
No, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And if anybody's watching and you want to check me out, I'm Quest Mode on YouTube or at Quest Mode Games on Twitter. And I do kind of in-depth, highly edited previews and reviews on my channel. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. Pretty platform agnostic, but I do lean towards PlayStation when I play games.
Absolutely. I've linked it in the chat. Do check it out. He does a lot of research in his videos as well. A lot especially on Deathloop. It was sick. Just check out his channel. It's wicked. Josh, what are you playing? I never get to ask.
Yeah,
what are you playing?
Well, not a lot because of the trip I just took, but Dishonored 2. I'm actually working on a review for that game, kind of leading up to Deathloop. I wanted to cover Dishonored because I played the original and I felt that it was very good and pretty underplayed, I think. And then I played 2, and like I said, it just blew my mind. Like last night, I'm on my 3rd playthrough. I think I've cracked almost 80 hours in that game. But I love stealth, by the way. So if you're not into stealth, it might not be your type of game. But
died inside.
Exactly why I haven't played it.
Yeah. But if you do like stealth, this is one of the best. Super great game. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna definitely check it out. You hyped up sickly. And now Balls wanted to play. I watched this video of a guy doing combos, doing some artsy stuff. It's insane.
Yeah, just before I move on, the one thing I'll say about it is like more than any other game I think I've played, I think, I wonder if I can do this in this game, but like, nah, the developers, they wouldn't let me do that. And then I try it, and sure enough, you can do it. And that over and over and over again. It's just constant surprise after surprise.
Okay, I'm definitely downloading. You're doing a video review on this, right?
Yeah, I'm working on the script right now. It's going to be probably about a week till I get it done, but it's coming.
Oh, wicked. I'm looking forward to that. Mads, it's always good to have you on, brother. How are you doing, man? I hope you had a good time. And what are you playing?
Yeah, as always, had a good time. We were not really that negative towards Halo at all, and 343. So just constructive criticism is always good, I guess, right? So great show. Nice to meet you, Josh. First time really with you, and nice to talk with you, Fons and Gaz and Isa. So great show as always. What I've been playing Horizon Forbidden. I wanted to say Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
That's the thing. Like ever since this game got
hook me up,
kind of. I wish. Kind of cancelled, right? Not officially and stuff, but nobody really believes that it's coming this year. Like I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West. Zero Dawn. Really, like, because I beat that game like when it first launched on PlayStation 4, but I kind of I played it, I beat it like too fast because I was like focusing on the story and stuff. I'm just like basically doing everything you can do in that game right now. So it's just like, yeah, I'm actually enjoying it. Too bad that this game is still 30 frames per second. It baffles my mind that they haven't really upgraded it yet. They did that to Days Gone, Last of Us.
Wait for the director's cut.
I was just about to say that.
Wait for the director's cut. $30.
I was just about to say that. I'm waiting for that comment.
That's what I've been playing for the most part. Yeah.
You playing it on PC then?
No, on PlayStation 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that it's still 30, right? But
yeah. Hopefully they upgrade that, because that one make me go back to it. But yeah, I'll get it on PC. Fonz! We weren't so bad. You weren't so bad. We weren't so bad.
No, of course not. I put my opinion out there, and as for me, I made a video on this last night when this news dropped, and I'm getting ratioed pretty hard there. But the dislikes are pretty harsh. But I'm just stating an opinion, folks. That's all it is. At the end of the day, I want to see what's best for Halo. I'm not hating on the franchise. I'm hoping that it's really good. But aside from that, you can find me at Fonzarelli Gaming here on YouTube. And I'm also currently playing Ghost of Tsushima. So having a blast with that director's cut. Having a total blast with that. But I just recently on Friday, I beat a game that I'm under embargo. I can't talk about it. Talk about it soon, but I beat a game on Xbox and had a great time with it. So...
I'm looking forward to your review of
on
Psychonauts
Xbox.
2.
Xbox has no
It's got to be Psychonauts.
Yeah, Xbox has no games. I got that wrong. It was for the Ouya.
There we go. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh, well, shout out to Fonz. If you come at Fonz, you come at me. Come at Solid Rev, you come at Colt. We have the same position on Halo.
Oh, by the way, I want to say to Josh, it was nice meeting you, man. First time I met you. I've seen you on these podcasts before and your videos, and you do a great job. So, yeah, I definitely am glad I met you today. Mads, as always, man, pleasure, man.
See, we bring people together. See? The glue that brings...
Right back at both of you guys. Yeah, Mads and Fonz, good to meet you. And hopefully we will see each other again on a future GameOnDaily or some other podcast. Who knows?
Yeah.
Do collabs. Games
I forgot to say tomorrow I have my podcast, Games Talk Live. That'll be live on YouTube here, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. And my guest will be from Last Stand Media, Dustin Furman. So executive producer.
Ooh, that's going to be
at Last Stand Media. We're going to talk a lot about PlayStation. That's what I plan to do.
That's wicked. Yeah. Dustin's a sick guy. I like him. I really like him.
Great guy. Amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to him. Shout out to Last Stand Media crew. Well, one day we'll get Colin back and teach him some lessons. Nah, he's cool. But I love
Colin's
Dustin.
a great guy.
Yeah. So shout out to everyone at Last Stand Media. Hey, so we have to quickly wrap up because I'm conscious of the time. What have you been playing? What have you been streaming? And what's in store for our viewers or your viewers?
Oh yeah, I play loads of stuff. I stream every day on Twitch. Loads of Hades this week. Whenever there's been a spare slot in the schedule, I've been blasting through Hades because it's just a good game. Other things too though. Halo 2, Halo Wars, Evil Within 2. What else? I don't know. Plenty of games. So just stop by on Acer_GameOnDaily to catch me there. Echo what everybody else has said. Thanks all three of you for coming along and sharing your opinions because it's always great to hear. Thank you everybody in chat for by and large keeping it civil. I saw a few funny name calling things going on in the middle, but usually it's all good here. That's what we like. So thank you everyone for coming along, participating. And Gaz, do you want to finish up, or is that the end?
That's it, the end. We have a Source video coming very soon, multiple actually. So please bear with me. I know it's been really slow, but things have been settling with my house move. But we really are ramping up content. We're investing in the equipment, and it's gonna be great, man. I promise you. I'll make up to you. I feel very guilty that what's super chat now? Neil B, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat. It says, oh, sorry, Josh, but you're not leaving. Neil B, thank you for the $10 super chat. Neil B's a massive supporter of us as well.
He's
great. He is. And oh man, that's such a nice message. Great podcast, GameOnDaily. Amazing moderators. Nice to hear from Fonz, Mads, Josh, and the wonderful content creators people in the chat. May God bless you all. God bless you, Neil. Thank you so much for that. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time on GameOnDaily.
Later.
Bye.
Hey everyone, welcome to Go Live.
Phil, Dominos, Maximus, Aurelius, Spencer.
That I love playing games, but I'm also a massive nerd when it comes to the tech. Someone at Sony that remembers that is going to drive a lorry through the wall and say, hey everybody, PlayStation's at E3, we don't hate our fans, let's go, and put on their own show.
Put on their own show.
Is that wild enough?
Welcome to Versus. In this series, two contestants go head to head in a battle to the death. In this episode, we have two.
But we're confident, you know, we're the Master Chief. Ish. I'm dead.
That could not be better timed.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about Xbox Series S and X SDK updates.
I just pre-ordered a Switch OLED model. When that shows up in the mail and I've had some time with it, I'd love to share my impressions of the Switch OLED.
What's up? We are live. We're live, dealer. We're live. Anyway, welcome back to another Games Talk Live, folks. It's good to be with you today, especially today, because I have a very special guest.
Bye.